G'day, it's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling from the website kangaroocourtofaustralia.com. Now, Kerry Stokes, a lot of his corruption is starting to filter through to the old media, and obviously that's been happening over the last sort of 12 or 18 months with the Ben Roberts-Smith matter, where he's been exposed for financing that and then trying to illegally finance it via Channel 7, whose shareholders have got no financial interest in supporting Ben Roberts-Smith and paying for his defamation case. But Kerry Stokes was trying to fraudulently use Seven shareholders' money to do that. And when he was caught out, he transferred it across to his own personal company at the expense of the defamation case. But anyhow, I just published an article in relation to Kerry Stokes and how that's finished off, where he's actually had to cough up the dough. He hasn't done it yet. He's still sort of ducking and weaving a little bit, but he has agreed to pay the money. But when you put that together with what's happening with the Bruce Lerman case, where Seven have been caught out lying and deceiving the public, saying they didn't pay Bruce Lerman when they actually did, and I'm actually in the process of taking a bit of a deep dive into that case, and I'll publish an article about that in the next few days, where Kerry Stokes is obviously up to his neck in that as well, trying to control that case. But when you add that together with my experience, 8 years being on the end of a slap lawsuits, actually, a number of them, Kerry Stokes, and the evidence I've compiled, it starts to tell a story of a serial criminal in Kerry Stokes who abuses the law like no tomorrow. I'll start off with a quick overview of the article I just published a couple of days ago, and then I'll get into some more evidence of Kerry Stokes' criminal conduct, him and his lawyer, Justine Munsie, and I'll read you part of her affidavit from 2014, which blows the lid on the corruption. Now, the article I published the other day on the Tuesday, the 12th of December 2023, is titled Kerry Stokes, in effect, admits to fraud by agreeing to personally pay over $16 million in the Ben Roberts-Smith case. And it starts off, Kerry Stokes, to avoid handing over incriminating emails and messages, has been forced to agree to pay $16 million to Nine Entertainment for the Ben Roberts-Smith defamation case. But paying the $16 million is itself an admission of financial fraud by Kerry Stokes, Ryan Stokes, Seven CEO James Warburton, and Seven's commercial director Bruce McWilliam, and others, because initially the Roberts-Smith case was being funded by Channel 7, which it had no legal right to do. Now, in that article, I also supply a transcript from 2017 when Kerry Stokes' lawyer, Richard Keegan, hopped in the witness stand and committed perjury in a separate matter, the Jane Doe matter, one of his slap lawsuits against me. And there was 4 women suing me for defamation. And Richard Keegan hops in the witness stand. I said, "Who's paying for the court case, Mr. Keegan?" And he ducked and weaved and said he doesn't know. But I kept at him and eventually admitted that Seven West Media were paying for it. And why would Seven West Media pay for 4 women to sue me for defamation? 2 of them no longer work for the company. It was to cover up the fraud and theft going on in the course of the Tim Warner, Amber Harrison fraud scandal. Tim Warner was a former CEO of Seven. There was a big scandal back in 2016, 2017. They're trying to cover it up, so they had these 4 women supposedly sue me for defamation, but it was Kerry Stokes behind it. He was controlling the defamation case and he was funding it. And that transcript exposed that. And I put that in the article the other day. And I'll put a link to the article below this video on YouTube, so you can go read that. And it's got a lot more information. Now, back to the Kerry Stokes Justine Munsie matter. Back in 2014, they sued me for defamation. So the first affidavit they filed was by Justine Munsie and exposed the fact that not only was she an applicant in the case, both Kerry Stokes and her were suing me for defamation, but she was also being paid by Kerry Stokes to represent her in the same case, which is dodgy as hell. And that shows up in the first 3 paragraphs of the affidavit. And I'll read that out to you now. And it's dated the 14th of April 2014, and it's Justine Munsie's affidavit. And it starts off in paragraph 1, I am a partner at Addison's, which is a law firm, and the first plaintiff, which is the same as the first applicant. Paragraph 2, I am authorised by Mr. Kerry Stokes, the second plaintiff, the second applicant, to swear this affidavit on his behalf and make this affidavit based on my personal knowledge or else on information provided to me by Mr. Stokes or other employees and officers of Seven West Media Group, of which Mr. Stokes is chair, and to whom I will refer to in my affidavit, which information I believe to be true. Paragraph number 3, Mr. Stokes, the second plaintiff, is the chairman of Seven West Media, whose media assets include the Seven Network, which broadcasts news, current affairs and other programs throughout Australia. Then paragraph 4, I'm informed by Mr. Stokes and believe that he recently became aware of an existence of an article concerning him and me on a website at the internet address kangaroocourtofaustralia.com. Now that shows they're suing me, which they did in 2014, ran until 2018. But paragraph 2, Justine Munsie talks about writing the affidavit on behalf of Kerry Stokes, which she could do. If she was just a lawyer representing Kerry Stokes in the matter, she can write an affidavit on his behalf. But the problem is she's an applicant in the case as well. So she shouldn't be talking to Mr. Kerry Stokes when she's writing an affidavit. So she shouldn't be writing an affidavit on his behalf. Nor should she be talking to other employees and officers at the Seven West Media Group when she's writing the affidavit. She's in effect saying, hey, I've colluded with all the witnesses and I've written this affidavit, which we all agree to, which is an admission of attempting to pervert the course of justice. Now, this is what I said today on Twitter. In 2014, Kerry Stokes and his lawyer, Justine Munsie, instituted a defamation case against me. They were both applicants in the matter, but Munsie was also paid by Channel 7 to represent Mr. Stokes, which is as dodgy as it gets, as per the affidavit I just read out to you. You can't be an applicant in a court case and at the same time be paid as a lawyer to represent another applicant in the same case, and as a lawyer, be paid to write an affidavit for the other applicant. But that is what Stokes and Munsie did, and they should be in jail for it. I think the original plan was just for Kerry Stokes to sue me, but then obviously I think Kerry Stokes probably decided he didn't want to be on the name of the case, and it ended up being called Munsie v. Dowling. So we had Justine Munsie sue me as well, but they forgot to cover their tracks. And now that friggin', well, not so much Kerry Stokes, Justine Munsie, the one writing the affidavit and preparing the case, she was too stupid to realise that she was an applicant in the case and she could no longer represent Kerry Stokes. Now, I raised that with numerous judges, Justice Lucy McCallum, Justice Ian Harrison, Justice Rothman, Justice Peter Hall, a whole heap of them. They all sat there, did the same thing, sat there like stunned mullets. Didn't say boo because they knew the game was up. They should have thrown the whole case out just based on that and hit Kerry Stokes and Justine Munsie up with contempt charges. But they're that corrupt, they just ignored it. Now, that affidavit by Justine Munsie by itself is bad. It becomes a lot worse when you start looking at the Kerry Stokes involvement in the Ben Robert Smith case where they were paying for witnesses. They all got together, about 4 or 5 witnesses, and perjured themselves. They obviously had been coached by the lawyer, Justine Munsie. She was a lawyer, one of the lawyers. She was writing affidavits for some of the witnesses in that case as well. So the story of Kerry Stokes' criminal history is really starting to show up in the media on a regular basis. Every couple of days there's a news story that seems to be about Kerry Stokes' criminal conduct. I think Kerry Stokes sees himself as a master litigator, master lawyer, bush lawyer, and he loves to run these cases personally. He's personally involved in them. You read that transcript from the article I wrote in a couple of days ago, and you'll see that he gets heavily involved. He's talking to the lawyer directly, not the partner, Justine Munsie. He's going over her head and talking to the lawyer, Richard Keegan, who's got day-to-day carriage of the case. So Kerry Stokes loves to be hands-on in these court cases and act corruptly running them. Anyhow, I'll put a link below this video on YouTube to that article. Make sure you read it. Adds a lot of value. I think we need more than a Murdoch Royal Commission. We need a Murdoch and Stokes Royal Commission. Anyhow, Kangaroo Court of Australia, independent media. I publish a website and a YouTube channel, and I'm 100% crowdfunded from viewers like yourself, so please support my Patreon account. I currently have 348 supporters donating $2,428 a month, and I need to almost double it to become financially viable. And you can donate any amount, $3, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50 a month, whatever suits your budget. And the link for the Patreon account will be below this video on YouTube and also on my website. And please share the video on social media. Other than that, thank you for your time and have a good day.